Good morning, art students. Today we are going to be doing blackout poetry. I should say this week we're doing blackout poetry. And we're going to be using space to create art. Now, space is one of the elements of art. I don't believe we've talked a whole lot about space yet. But there are two different kinds. One is actual space. So you can see here like this sculpture, how you can go underneath it and around it. You can see through it. This is an actual thing you can touch. Then there is implied space, like this painting right here. If we were actually in this painting, we'd be itty tiny right down in there. And the painting is not an actual space, like you can't feel the space, but you get the sense of space because of the way that the artist painted it. And that's called implied or suggested. Here's another way. So these are the 7 elements of art: line, shape, form, space, value, color, and texture. And you can see space right here in a visual, just like along with the other ones. And what are we going to do with a blackout poem? So basically a blackout poem is when you take a piece of writing from a newspaper, a book, a magazine, an advertisement. Students have even done Pocky boxes and mac and cheese boxes or old mail, junk mail, anything that has writing on it. What you do is you use the existing writing and you create something new with it. So you do this by finding words that jump out at you, outlining them, blocking out all the other words on the page, and then the words that you don't block out become your poem or your writing. Now, the easiest way to do this is to watch somebody doing a blackout poem. So I want you to pause this video, go into the PDF in Schoology that says Blackout Poetry PDF. Click on that slide presentation, and this video is going to be in there. So take a chance. Not take a chance, take a pause, go watch that video, and then come back. Hopefully you just did that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you different styles of blackout poems, and you are going to need to do 2 different ones. So you're going to need to choose 2 of the different styles that I'm going to show you. And the 2 different styles can be the ones that you like the best. So the traditional blackout poems are like this. It's where you find certain words that pop out, and you find connecting words like maybe dream and words and spoken, glittering on. Maybe those are the words that pop out to you. And then you need the connecting words like I, dream of, words spoken into infinite space. Anyway, you go through the whole page. They've done book pages right here. This one is actually from a newspaper and from a horoscope, so you can use anything, and you basically are just going to be finding words that stand out to you, outlining them, and then blocking everything else out. Now, another way to do this is to use a connecting sort of, connecting your words. So the feeling of gravity keeps us down. And I love this because they even have an arrow down here at the bottom. So they've connected all their words with a line. They've outlined it in black, and then they even went a step further and outlined it in red to make it really be emphasized. Here they have one: the key is to have the good news in you. And you can see that they've outlined these all in kind of like bubble letters, and they scratched out the majority of the rest so that way these are really popping. The third way to do a blackout poem is to add an image. Now, the image that you have, you want it to emphasize your poem. So this one says, as long as there is open road, the familiar has the most formidable competitor. So basically that means whenever you get out on the road and you find something that is not familiar, then that familiar thing, it's got the competitor of the open road. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. So you would create an image on the page, and just make sure that you can really see your poem really well. The last style is adding color, and I love this one. You can see here they've done the connecting and they've added color. Here you almost don't notice that there's a poem up here at the top, but then they've got all this stuff in the background, and you can still see some of the words from the page, which is great. They have the connector right here as well, and you can see that they've got this arrow that kind of shows you exactly where to begin and end. I think this one starts down at the bottom and works its way back up, which is pretty cool. So those are the 4 different styles: adding color, blocking the poem and adding an image, connecting words, and the traditional blackout. You are going to choose 2 of these different ones. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to explain the rest of this in the next video. So this is part 1. Don't forget to go and take a look at part 2. All right, see you soon.